Hi, I'm registered dietitian Jason Wojciehowski, and I'm here at Victoria's Delights in downtown Oxford, where we're talking dining out and nutrition. It's an episode of Eating Healthy you won't want to miss. Hi, and welcome to Eating Healthy. I'm your host, Jason Wojciehowski, registered dietitian. And I'm here today at Victoria's Delights in downtown Oxford, where we're talking dining out and nutrition. So I'm here with Vicki from Victoria's Delights, and welcome to the show, Vicki.
Thank you, Jason.
And so I understand we're going to be cooking something up here, and so what are we making today?
Today I thought we would make a Portobello burger. We have our burger days coming up here in Oxford, and so for the competition I chose a Portobello burger on a more healthier angle, something different than a traditional ground beef patty burger.
Sounds great. So let's have that.
Ready to get started? I'm going
Yes.
to have you probably give me a hand.
All right.
I don't eat a lot of meat myself, so I'm very fond of the Portobello burger. I also think with grilling season coming up, it's a nice thing if you get invited to a barbecue and you're not a big meat eater, at least there's something there for you to have. So we start with these beautiful jumbo Portobello caps.
Okay.
I'm going to just put it in a Ziploc bag. And we want to marinate it a little bit. So you can either use your favorite marinade, or I like to use just a little bit of balsamic,
Okay.
a little bit of olive oil. Oh, let's see. You want to give me a couple grinds of pepper in there?
Sure.
All right. That looks good.
All right.
Okay, and then we're just going to put this in the fridge. It probably needs to marinate for at least a couple hours.
Okay.
But like I said, then if I was invited somewhere where I was afraid there wasn't going to be anything for me to eat, I would just grab my Portobello and then I'd have it to throw on the grill. I do have some that I marinated earlier. And the marinade just kind of softens them up a little bit, gives them a little extra flavor.
Great.
Now, I would normally do this on a barbecue grill. You can do them in your oven, a grill pan if you have it. I thought today we would do it on a little George Foreman up here.
Perfect.
So we're just going to take the cap, throw it on the grill, shut the grill. On a barbecue grill at home, probably take you about 10 minutes tops, 4 minutes each side, and flip it over. I had some neat topping ideas though, and I thought you could give me a hand with that.
Absolutely.
Caramelized onions are one of my favorites. Brings out a lot of flavor. They're great on poultry, sandwiches, vegetarian. Just to, you know, when I eat healthy, I still like a lot of flavor. So I like things that have a lot of depth. I start with a Vidalia onion, which is normally a little bit of a sweeter onion on its own. And I'm just going to put, I have like one large Vidalia here, and I'm going to put it in the saute pan. I'm going to put a little olive oil in. You can use butter, but like I said, we try to cut out the butter whenever possible. Olive oil's a great substitute. I'll get my little burner going.
Right. Yeah.
Now this is a long process, but it really is worth it. If you need to speed it up, cover the onions, then they'll sweat down a little bit faster because you want them to release their juices. And then what you're going to do is cook them over low heat and stir them and kind of caramelize them. It's going to bring the natural sugar out. Okay. And when the natural sugar comes out, they're going to be sweet. Great. I have some to show you that I already caramelized to save a little time for us. But see how they have that nice brown caramel? They're great on sandwiches. Right. If you like steaks, they're good on steaks. But they're going to help really give us some flavor with our Portobello.
And it seems with this recipe, it's a lot of fresh ingredients we're using different things like onions, and I see some produce here and things like that. So we're using more of that angle versus unhealthy oil, you know, frying, anything like that, which is nice with dining out, right? You know,
and especially anytime you can get fresh produce and start with fresh, it's so better than something that's processed.
Right.
Another quickie I thought we'd talk about is a little bit about roasted red peppers. You know, it's kind of the rage. Yes. Everybody likes roasted red peppers. You can buy roasted red peppers, but now, you know, the season's going to come up on us, just like you said, where they're fresh, they're good value at a farmer's market, that kind of thing. You can roast them on your grill, or you can just char them over an open flame like this. Okay, so we're just going to kind of leave this over an open flame, and what we want to do is get it charred and blackened on all sides. So I think at home you might want to use a tongs. Keep your fingers a little cooler. But when it gets all black, what we're going to do is throw it in a paper bag and seal the bag. And the steam is going to help that pepper come away from the skin. So see, it is really roasted.
Look at the difference.
It's really charred. And then the black is just going to rub off on this. And underneath is going to be our pepper. And we're going to want to take the seeds out, that kind of thing. But all this black is going to come off, and then we're going to have really nice, soft roasted pepper, which we can cut in strips.
Okay.
The roasted brings out a lot of flavor. You know, when you're not frying, you're not using butter, you want to keep your salt low, you want to keep some things high on flavor.
Right.
See how our portobello is doing.
And discussing that, I think it's hard nowadays with people dining out. They find, well, if I choose healthier options, how do I choose something that has still that flavor that I enjoy? So looking for recipes like this, or kind of unique recipes, I guess, that incorporate some of these methods is a great example.
Yeah, I think sometimes people, they get turned off by diet food or something that's low in calories because it lacks flavor, and that's really the problem. You want to bring your flavor out with your freshness, with your herbs, that kind of thing. And instead, I mean, anybody can make anything taste great with butter, cream, you know, and put a little bacon on it. Yeah, that's the easy thing to do. So I think our portobello is done.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna turn off our barbecue grill here, and let's see. So we got a nice grilled cap. We're gonna set that aside, let that cool down a little bit. I thought you could help me make some basil pesto.
Absolutely.
It's one of my favorites. We're gonna take fresh basil.
Okay.
Basil's a very good value at farmers markets, that kind of thing. It's also very easy to grow yourself. We have an herb garden back behind the restaurant, so we do grow a lot of our own herbs through the summer.
Great.
Oh, I've got about 2 cups of basil. And it's gonna take us about half a cup of olive oil. So, and this is gonna make a nice spread. It's gonna help to still stay vegetarian. There is a little bit of cheese in it, but not a lot. Parmesan has enough natural salt, so.
And that's a great point too, is the fact that, you know, a lot of people going out to eat nowadays, they think vegetarian's healthier. Well, not necessarily, because there's so much cheese and other things in there that can up the calories of
Definitely,
something.
Jason,
So,
definitely.
that's one thing to keep in mind if you're going out to eat, is really look over the options you're choosing, and just don't assume necessarily it's going to be healthy right away if it's vegetarian. But there are a lot of great options out there like this recipe that are.
Oh yeah, I mean, perfect example is your fettuccine Alfredo.
Right.
I mean, yes, it's meatless, but wow.
Yes.
You're better off having a steak. I have 3 tablespoons of garlic, the Parmesan cheese, and the basil, and we're just gonna process it in the blender.
Okay.
You may need to scrape the sides down a little bit. This is easy to do in your food processor as well. Oh, so we can talk. I think I'll have them finish that up in the back. But what our final product's gonna be is like this. It's a nice basil spread. Pine nuts are a good addition to it. I've toasted the pine nuts. Toasting the nuts brings out a good flavor. Some people have nut allergies, and that's one of the things that when you're dining out, you really need to ask a lot of questions.
Right.
Some people would assume the pesto was nut-free. It can contain walnuts. It can contain pine nuts. So let's get back to our burger.
Right. That's a great point.
Whole wheat bun. Whole wheat is a great option when
Right.
dining out. The whole wheat has a lot more, just good. The nutrients are still in there.
You're getting that fiber, a lot of great things, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I think white bread is just a waste of calories. You know, it is over refined.
Right,
It doesn't have the
right.
flavor, and it definitely doesn't have the health benefits.
Right.
So I've got a little pesto. We're gonna put some of our roasted peppers on there.
And the nice thing about this too, for all of you who want to try something like this at home, this is a great thing to do. It's a fun recipe, you know, it's kind of mix and match here and there. And I mean, it's, if you want to, whether it's cooking for yourself or with someone you love or care about, this is a great recipe.
Yeah, and I think, you know, with the season coming up, it's a nice to do outside.
Right, exactly.
I think it still gives you that burger. So we're gonna put our portobello cap on there. I got the lid. So it kind of has that burger look to it. I like to get fun and creative with my little sticks. And we're gonna, and like I said, these other recipes go well with a lot of things. Roasted peppers, you could toss that in with a little pasta.
Right.
Your basil pesto is wonderful with a little bit of,
Wow.
oh, sandwiches.
Look
anything.
at that. That looks, just the appearance. I mean,
So kind
it's colorful and that's beautiful.
a nice, you know, a nice alternative to the traditional burger.
Right.
We serve it with a little bit of sweet potato chips.
Oh, those
you know?
are great.
So I think what's most important is that you have fun, you enjoy the flavor,
Right.
that you eat well, and that you kind of have to consciously look at all the different ingredients.
Right, right.
You know, mayos and some of the cream-based things that seem harmless.
They add up a lot of calories to salt to fats, things like that. Exactly. Now, since we're talking about preparation, you know, preparing foods, and we've made such a lovely, healthy option, let's talk a little bit about words you can look for. For instance, we talked about grilled versus fried versus baked, and maybe talk about a little bit about the differences of each kind of, and just some words you can look for when you're choosing your menu options.
And the George Foreman, really, if you don't have one or any kind of grill like this, is kind of cool because the fat and any extra does run out. You want to watch for fried. You know, if you like fried food, maybe once a month treat yourself. Otherwise, you need to kind of stay away from that. That, I think, is one of the biggest things that you can avoid when going out to eat in the restaurants. And fried food is one of the simplest things to prepare. So it's going to be one of the things you're going to find on your menu.
On any menu, right.
And sometimes you need to watch for crispy or other little cute terms that mean fried without saying deep fried.
Right.
Roasted is good. Roasted is baked at a high heat. Broiled is always a good thing to look for. Grilled. Sauteed is usually a nice term for pan fried, so you want to watch that.
Okay.
Here at Victoria's, we cook just with olive oil, so we don't have a lot of butter.
Right.
And you can always ask to have your food either grilled or broiled dry. Ask them, you know, do you cook in butter? Do you cook in olive oil? Can you leave it off? You know, your food is cooked to order in the kitchen, so they should be happy to accommodate you any way that they can.
And what I want to stress is don't be afraid to ask questions. For all you viewers out there, you know, you want to be in control of your food. You're going to the restaurant and you're giving them business, but at the same time, you are the one who's providing that customer. You are the customer, so don't be afraid to take control in some aspects.
Definitely, and I think more and more health conscious is common, and it should. If it's not on the menu, you have every right to ask. It's your health that you are protecting, and your body that you want to give good things to eat. So. I would recommend checking menus out online as well, that kind of thing.
And we'll talk about that a little further on. But since we're talking about preparation, one thing I wanted to bring up too is I think people go to a restaurant and they ask you, how do you want your steak done? How do you want your burger done? And people will just say medium well. And it's not because they know exactly, it's just because they know it's what they like. You know, what's the difference between each stage, I guess, and is there an advantage of one over the other?
Boy, I am not a big meat eater. You can see why we did our portobello. But from my background, medium rare is an excellent way to have it cooked. The protein is cooked to a different temperature, the beef, a steak. So as it gets cooked higher, it's going to release more juice and things like that. So it's not going to be quite as tender. For safety's sake, you do want to cook your meat to 155. So it just depends on, and one of the preparations you have to watch with meat is a lot of steaks are basted with butter.
Right.
So you want to ask about that,
right,
because it does give the steak a nice sheen and flavor and thing like that. So if you want to cut butter out of it, ordering a steak, you do want to check on that.
Okay. Okay. Great.
But like I said, meat is not my super specialty. We do have a steak here and a couple other things. How do you like your steak?
Usually I get it well done, just for safety purposes. Being a dietitian, I promote safety greatly. But you know, with burgers it varies. You know, but like I say, I try to eat healthier. You know, and really watch myself when I dine out, especially with those type of things, and look at the menu. And one thing also is looking at the sides, you know, ordering more vegetables on the sides, watching your portions, things like that. So,
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's really something, because I was reading somewhere that 29% of meals of Americans are eaten out. They eat out at restaurants 29% of the time. So this is a huge part of nutrition, it's a huge part of their life. And people do it to feel good. They want to go out to eat, they want to feel good. Food's a pleasure. And so, but at the same time, you know, you want to focus on nutrition and eat healthy as well. So,
I do. I think dining is, and which good for me. Dining is a way of life. Dining out, two people are working, they're busy.
Right.
You're forced to grab things on the go, whether it's lunch, breakfast, or sitting down and enjoying a nice dinner.
Okay, well, this looks great. That wraps up our first segment, but when we come back, we're going to be sitting down with Vicki some more and talking about some tips about eating out when you just walk in and order. So stay tuned. You're watching Eating Healthy on ONT.
Please remember that CFL bulbs, those curly, energy-efficient light bulbs everybody is using to save electricity, shouldn't be thrown away in your trash. Neither should batteries or home medical sharps. You can check with your local community to see where they can be recycled. Some retailers will allow you to bring them in for recycling. You can also order simple kits online that allow you to collect your recyclables and simply mail them away to be properly recycled. This green tip was brought to you by your friends at Waste Management.
Hi, and welcome back to Eating Healthy. So I'm back here with Vicki, and we're talking dining out and nutrition. And so let's talk a little bit about when I come in, Vicki. Let's say I'm a customer. I've just walked in. I'm looking to eat healthy. I'm looking to have a good time eating out with maybe a friend or something like that. And I sit down. What are some tips I can for eating out, for dining out, if I sit here at Victoria's?
Oh, great question, Jason. I think that you really want to interact with your server. I don't see a problem with saying to your wait person, hey, you know what, I'm on a healthy diet. Mm-hmm. Do you have any house favorites or recommendations? And start with that as a starting point. We talked a little bit about previewing the menu online, right, which can help give you an idea of what's healthy on the menu, and then you can pursue your questions when you come in. Start with some ice water. A lot of restaurants anymore are serving water upon request, and I think that helps you relax, have some water, maybe take a little bit of the hunger pang off, and make a wise decision on the menu.
Okay, that's great. And as far as, looking at sides, appetizers, all that adds up. Eventually, but even still, for instance, people will order salads, but is that necessarily healthy?
Salads are a tricky one.
Like
you really have to watch your salads because it sounds fresh and it sounds healthy and good for you. But a Cobb salad could be loaded with processed meats, turkey, ham, bacon, the dressing. You could end up with a fattier meal than you anticipated. So you want to watch. I would steer away from cream-based dressings. A simple balsamic and olive oil is a good option. Ask for your dressing on the side by all means, because sometimes when they're tossed with a little more dressing than you may like, and this way you can control it. You do kind of just want to dip your fork into your side of dressing instead of pouring it on, and you should use a little bit less. Cheeses are another big culprit in salads, croutons, some toppings. So you want to make sure something's loaded with veggies.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, and like you said, the salad fork trick. You know, you're dipping your fork in the dressing, and this goes for all sauces too. Really, you can dip it in your fork, get your piece of food, and then eat it. So you're not overloading the menu choice with all the sauce,
right,
and salt and calories and fat and things like that. So, but since we're talking about sauces and stuff, you want to stay away from the cream-based sauces, kind of like your mayo, your cream, and things like that. And that goes a long way. Also with soups, you know, your bisque soups that are a little more creamy and things like that.
Yeah, there are a couple of key words to watch
Yes,
out for.
right.
Creamy is one of them.
Right.
Au gratin usually means it has cheese and then some more cheese. Bisque is traditionally a cream-based soup, so you do
Right.
want to check with your server and double check. I mean, here at Victoria's we do make some pumpkin bisques and some things like that where we use the term without using cream, but normally that is a cream-based soup. Soups that are made from scratch, we make all our soups here, have less sodium in them. Some of the processed soups, prepackaged, frozen, or canned, are really loaded with sodium. So if you're trying to watch your salt, you may just want to say, hey, you know, are your soups made in-house, or is it a product? I am on a low sodium diet.
Right, right, okay. So, and also, you know, broth-based soups aren't a bad thing either.
Oh, broth-based soups are wonderful. Vegetarian soups, if you're at an Italian restaurant, a minestrone is fantastic. A broth-based soup and a small salad sometimes, depending on a weeknight meal, might be enough just to call dinner right there.
Okay.
We serve olive oil with bread. I just read an article that said you can cut 100 to 150 calories off your meal by using olive oil instead of butter, and you won't eat so much bread as well.
Right.
I'm sure, because bread is really just a vehicle for butter.
It is. It is. That it is.
So watch the bread basket, or even ask your server, no bread. Don't bring us the bread. And then
Right.
you're not tempted to continue to
That is
snack on
true.
it.
That is true, and I read that somewhere too. You know, ask them to take away, or even if there's pictures of food on the table, ask them. So you're not tempted. You know, what you're trying to do is really keep in mind and keep to the plan in some ways. That's of remaining healthy, and sometimes it takes strategies such as that. I heard somewhere that, or I read somewhere that it was good to sit farther away from the kitchen if possible, because then you're not seeing all the food made and it being passed back and forth, and so you're less likely to be hungry then. So there's a lot of different things you can do when you're eating out, and a lot of different tips and strategies.
Oh yeah, I mean, because eating out should be fun, and eating out is a way of life. So you're going to have to learn how to navigate the menu and what kind of decisions to make. Sharing a meal is a great thing, as
Right.
long as your dining companion is on the nutrition and healthy path as well. You don't want to share a big hot fudge sundae with them.
Right, right, I understand. Well, and the great thing about sharing is even like if with the economy the way it is, even that helps, that can help a lot, but also help you with your nutrition goals as well. Watching your portion sizes, because portion sizes, let's face it, have grown and grown and grown, it seems, these days, and it's, do they seem to be stagnant?
I think it's a big culprit in the industry, that portion sizes and restaurants are forced to put a bigger portion on so that you feel that you have a value. And you know, your average size portion, I think your meat or protein should be about the size palm of your hand, no more than 6 ounces. So you do want it, and you can also ask the portion, because it's hard to gauge. You say, you know, is that an 8-ounce portion of chicken, or is it a 6-ounce portion, so that you know. Also, restaurants are notorious for filling the plate with French fries or potatoes or other things that are giving you that whole great presentation, which is wonderful, but you're going to fall prey to eating more fries than you anticipated. Look for fresh steamed vegetables, ask for double vegetable, no potato. You know, we cook with olive oil, but a lot of places use butter, which does add a little bit of extra flavor, so you just want to ask. I think educating yourself about the restaurant and talking with the server and engaging with the staff can really help you make the wisest decisions.
Right, and even we talked about it, you know, preparing before you go, you know, researching. I mean, the technology is such a great tool nowadays, and so you can utilize it in that aspect. Go to the company's website, see if they have a nutrition menu there. If not, call them and ask someone at the restaurant. You know, there's so many things you can do nowadays, and even still, there's some online food journals where you can look up foods. And the great thing about those food journals, and I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're free. That's the thing. So even if you want to keep track of your day-to-day eating, or if you just want to look up a food or see how you're doing one day, you're able to do that. There's a www.choosemyplate.gov. That's the USDA's MyPlate. That's the new food pyramid.
Wonderful, and I'm very happy with the new food pyramid.
I am as
very
well.
happy with
I am
it.
as well. For all of you who don't know, it's shaped like a plate, and it's much more easy. It's a lot easier for a person to understand the requirements as far as nutrition go. There's also sparkpeople.com, and that sends you a lot of free articles about nutrition from professionals such as dietitians and their exercise therapists. It's a great tool as well. There's fitday.com. So there's a lot of great things on the internet, and the thing about those 3 websites, they're free as well. So that's real nice. But like you said, and like we've talked about, just really preparing and ahead of time, and almost coming up with a plan, coming up with strategies of how you're going to still enjoy yourself, because above all, food is a pleasure. You should go out.
Oh,
and feel that you
definitely,
enjoy it.
definitely. And if you like something, just eat it in moderation, or make sure that it's not part of your everyday. If you had a cheeseburger for lunch, then maybe you want to have a smaller meal at dinner. And I think the restaurant industry is hearing people. They're listening when people are saying we want healthier options, and you know, we're responding with more whole grains. And we have an heirloom grain blend here at Victoria's that's quinoa and barley and a lot of good fiber, nutritious whole grains, which is a good option over a potato or white rice.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to thank you for being on the show today. You can't say enough of how you've shown us about healthy dining, and for all of you out there, if you have any questions for Vicki, you can check out the Victoria's Delights website at www.victoriasdelights.com, or you can call at 248-969-3477. Vicki's always here as well. You stop by, and she's always around the restaurant, I know. So, you know, if you have any questions, like I said, Victoria's Delights is located in downtown Oxford. It's near the Oxford 7 movie theater. It's on the same block, just about 4 or 5 doors down. So, like I said, come check it out. But with that in mind, from all of us here at Eating Healthy, Victoria's Delights, Orion Neighborhood Television, I just want to say keep eating healthy, and we'll see you next time. If you have any questions for me, feel free to email me at jasonwojo1234@yahoo.com.